You're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We start off today with Ukraine crisis. It's day 22. These are the latest updates. Now, Ukraine has accused Russian forces of bombing a theatre where civilians were sheltering in Mariupol. Deputy Mayor has told the BBC that between 1,000 and 1,200 people had sought refuge in the building. Now, according to the Associated Press, a photo released by Mariupol City Council showed an entire section of the large three-story theatre that had collapsed after the strike on Wednesday evening. Now, in a video address, Ukraine's president said, and I quote, "Our hearts are broken by what Russia is doing to our people, to our Mariupol," end quote. Now, Ukrainian parliament has said that over 130 civilians have so far been rescued from that theatre in Mariupol. In the meantime, Ukrainian Prosecutor General's office has said at least 107 children have been killed and more than 120 have been wounded since Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, over 410 educational institutions have been damaged by shelling and 63 of them fully destroyed, and at least 11 hospitals have been shelled so far in the last 22 days. Also, losses mount in Chernihiv. Ukrainian defense official has said that the bodies of 53 residents of Chernihiv have been delivered to the embattled city's morgue after heavy bombardment and shelling. Now, also in the news, this is just coming a while ago, at least 21 people were killed and 25 were injured when Russian forces shelled a town in eastern Ukraine. Artillery fire earlier hit a school and a cultural center in the town of Marifa outside the city of Kharkiv. And this was according to regional prosecutors who said in a Facebook post that of the wounded, 10 people are in serious condition. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has called his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin a war criminal, prompting an angry response from the Kremlin, which denounced it as unforgivable rhetoric from a head of the state. Now, Kremlin spokesperson said, and I quote, "We consider such rhetoric from a head of the state whose bombs killed hundreds of thousands of people around the world to be unacceptable and unforgivable," end quote. Meanwhile, the White House has said that the United States President Joe Biden will hold a call on Friday with Chinese leader Xi Jinping and will discuss managing competition between the two countries as well as Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Also in the news, India's External Affairs Ministry has said that India will study the impact of Western sanctions against Russia while devising a payment mechanism to settle its trade with Moscow. Now, Mr. Arindam Bakshi has said that India imports the bulk of its oil needs and is always exploring all possibilities in the global energy markets. Now, according to Al Jazeera, UK's trade minister has said that it is very disappointed with India's stance on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but still regards it as an important trading partner. Now, stressing on that particular point, I'll give you a bit of a background. There were reports that New Delhi is planning to buy Russian oil at a discounted rate, and this was one Reuters report which said that. Now, India has clarified that it is always exploring possibilities in global energy markets as its oil requirements are met by imports. In the meantime, Russia and Ukraine negotiations are now going to continue. Negotiations will continue online, is what Kremlin has said. Kremlin spokesperson has said Russia's conditions were, and I quote, "extremely clear, spelled out and fully brought to the attention of the Ukrainian negotiators," end quote. In the meantime, France has said Russia is pretending to negotiate in Ukraine talks. Moving on from this big story now to another big story. On the G23 Congress leaders meet yesterday, we told you that there was a meeting at Ghulam Nabi Azad's residence. Now, a day later, NDTV has reported that the 23 dissidents of the Congress party will meet again in this evening. Now, this is their second meet in 24 hours. The meet is expected to be a feedback session, with Mr. Huda meeting Rahul Gandhi earlier today and Mr. Azad expected to meet Sonia Gandhi. Now, Indian Express quoting sources has said a meet between Sonia Gandhi and some of the leaders is also on the cards. The G23 leaders, meanwhile, have said that the only way forward for the party was to adopt a model of, and I quote, collective and inclusive leadership and decision making at all levels, end quote. Meanwhile, Punjab Chief Minister today announced that his government will start an anti-corruption helpline number that would allow people to upload videos of corrupt officials asking for bribe or indulging in other malpractices. Now, Bhagwant Mann has said that the helpline number is his personal WhatsApp number, adding that he will ensure a corruption-free government in the state. Also in the news, the IMD has said, and this is according to the Hindustan Times, that maximum temperature in parts of the country has increased by 10 degrees since March 1st. Now, Barmer and Jaisalmer in Rajasthan, Ahmedabad in Gujarat, and Nagpur and Akola in Maharashtra have been witnessing temperatures in excess of 40 degrees Celsius for the past 2 days, while the mercury in Mumbai, Bhopal and Kolkata have also hovered close to 40 degrees Celsius. Also, 2022's first cyclone is set to develop in the Bay of Bengal at around the 21st of March, and this is according to the Indian Meteorological Department. Once it intensifies into a storm, it will be called Asani. The name this time has been given by Sri Lanka. Now, the IMD has said that the cyclone will not affect mainland India, as the likely cyclone track is headed towards Bangladesh and North Myanmar. Now, the cyclone will move past the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, bringing heavy rainfall on the 20th and the 21st of March. In the meantime, the Union Home Ministry has said that rescue teams are on standby for deployment in Andaman and Nicobar. Also, an update on actor Dileep case now. The Kerala High Court today has said that it will not stay the crime branch probe against actor Dileep and others in the case, accusing them of conspiring to kill and threaten officials investigating the 2017 actress assault case. Now, to give you a bit of a background, on the 17th of February 2017, an actor was allegedly kidnapped and sexually abused inside her car for 2 hours. Now, Dileep is among the 10 accused persons in the case and is the alleged mastermind of the assault. Now, Dileep has contended that in the court that the crime branch has leveled, and I quote, false and fabricated allegations of destruction of evidence against him and the other accused as well as their lawyers. The court has now listed the matter on the 28th of March for final arguments. Let's now take a look at what's making news across the globe. The first piece of information we'll give you is on what's happening in Japan. A powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Fukushima in northern Japan on Wednesday night. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida told a parliamentary session on Thursday morning that 4 people died during the quake and the cause of the deaths are being investigated, while 97 others have been injured. Now, the quake shook large parts of eastern Japan, including Tokyo, where buildings swayed violently. Also in the news, according to the World Health Organization, the global rise in the number of COVID cases could herald a much bigger problem, as some countries also reported a drop in testing rates. Now, this comment comes in from the WHO on Tuesday, where it warned nations and asked them to stay vigilant about the virus. Now, this comes after a global rise in COVID cases, especially what we're looking at in China, South Korea and other nations. New infections have now jumped by 8% globally compared to the previous week, with 11 million new cases and just over 43,000 new deaths reported from March 7th to 13th. It is the first rise since the end of January. One piece of good news before we wrap things up here on this bulletin. Good news coming in from Delhi. The Delhi government-run LNJP hospital, which was the mainstay of the city's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, now has 0 patients admitted at the facility. Now, this is the first time since March 2020 that this has happened, according to Health Minister Satyendra Jain, who announced this today. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Holi to everyone watching right now. We'll see you again on Saturday. Good night.